All right, and for our next matchup is Steel City, the Steelers versus the Chargers in Pittsburgh, with Pittsburgh being a favorite of 1.5, total at 35.5, so they're looking at to be a very close game. This game has all the markups of a run defense kind of game. The Steelers have Justin Fields' legs. I don't know who's worried about his passing. I don't know anybody worried about his passing. I'm not a Justin Fields believer. I believe he's just an average quarterback who can run. I don't like any of the Pittsburgh Steelers running backs. Harris and Warren, average, I would say. I would even say Harris is a bust at being a first-round pick. I do love George Pickens, though. I think George Pickens has a really great quarterback who can pass the ball. He'd be a really great wide receiver in this league and could put up some big numbers. And the Chargers offense, great rushing attack. Dobbins looks like vintage Dobbins behind that line. We'll get to their O-line in a second. Dobbins looks amazing. Edwards, it looks all right, but not as good as Dobbins. Love it because I drafted Dobbins late in my fantasy draft, and he's looking great. Leads the league in rushing, that is. Johnson had a big game last week. He looks good. But let's Joe Alt. Talk about Joe Alt, the Chargers first-round pick rookie. The guy looks amazing. He held Max Crosby in check, and Max Crosby's a beast. I think Crosby had 2 sacks the last week himself. So holding him in check, he's been holding his own since he was drafted and playing in the NFL. Looks really amazing. Probably going to be one of the best left tackles in this league, if not already, when the season ends. So he could possibly hold his own against TJ Watt. TJ Watt, as we know, is a beast. The guy's everywhere on the field. The guy could play damn near every position except corner, maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised he couldn't play that. So this is going to be a great matchup. Charger defense looks really good, but their opponents have been really crappy opponents, like the Panthers. And believe they beat Oakland as well. So yeah, they did beat the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. Be that with Minshew, and be that with their wide receiving core, Adams and Myers, and the Chargers held them. But Pittsburgh defense is the better defense. Their last game last week was a snooze fest of a game. Against Denver. Oh my God, I was just hoping that game would be over already. But Denver, nothing to brag about. Their offense is god awful. So it's good. I think it's gonna be a really tight game, as it's been predicted, and a low scoring game. Both teams are going to be dependent on the run, and they're going to be dependent on their defenses to get turnovers and just make stops. I just don't trust Justin Fields, but the Steelers have won 7 of their last 8 games, as a slight favorite. So that's something to remember. Usually Tomlin is great as an underdog, but not good as a favorite. The Chargers are 10-4 straight up in the last 14 games against the NFC North. So there's a lot to deal with. You have the Chargers also have Bosa and Mack, who look pretty good. Bosa, I believe, has 2 sacks, and I think Mack has almost 2 sacks, 1.5. So both these teams could get after the quarterback. I would say the Chargers probably have the better offensive line. But you have to put things in perspective. Are the Chargers 2-0 because their opponents were not so great? The Raiders beat the Ravens, so maybe, that helps their case. And with the Steelers, they didn't look so great against Denver. I don't care what anybody says. Their defense just can't keep on carrying it for them. If TJ Watt, as good as he is going to be everywhere, the guy could probably get hurt again. And then where are they going to be without him? I know they got a good defensive line with Hayward and all that, but this is a very tough game, and I don't trust Justin Fields. I do not trust him whatsoever. The guy could just run, can't throw the ball very accurately. So I'm just going to go with the better quarterback and the better offensive line. And I'm going to take the Chargers going into Pittsburgh and defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I would take them actually money line. But if you want that 1.5, take it. Maybe the Pittsburgh gets a field goal and they go up by 1. But I like the Chargers money line on this. Give me the better quarterback and the better offensive line.